Hello, I'm Merrick Masters and welcome to Presidential Election Watch. Today is October the 30th, 2024, 6 days before the election on November the 5th of this year. I'm a professor of business emeritus, a commentator, a podcaster. You can find me at my email address or on my YouTube channel where this appears. Today we're going to talk a little bit about polling. If you look at Real Clear Politics, polling aggregation, which reports the average of several polls which are used to give you a snapshot of where the voting population stands at this particular time. You can see that Donald Trump has a slight edge, 0.4 of 1%. But compare that to 2020, in which President Biden, former Vice President Biden of the United States at the time, had a 7.5 lead over then President Trump, and in 2016, in which Hillary Clinton had a lead of 1.7%. So Trump is faring better today based on this polling than he was 4 years and 8 years ago. You also have a five-way race with Trump having a slight lead, and this is the race that's going to take place in most of the states in which you have multi-candidates on the ballot, some of which may garner a noticeable share of the vote, including Kennedy, who remains on several states on the ballot, such as Michigan, and Stein, and Oliver, and West. They may garner anywhere from 1 to 4% of the vote, which can be a deciding factor in a very close election. Early voting takes place in many states, and at the present time, based on information today, nearly 62 million people have voted by mail-in or early in person. And you can see the breakdown based on party registration where that data are available by state. Now we're at the point where really the effort to win this election is not so much in the media with television and social media advertising as it is in the effort to mobilize voters and get them out to vote where they can vote early, and clearly where they have not voted by election day to get them out on election day, where Republicans, generally speaking, are expected to have an advantage. Fundraising at this time, based on data from Open Secrets, shows that Harris has raised, through her own campaign committees and outside money, about $1.6 billion, and Trump has raised slightly more from similar sources than $1 billion. So you now have a presidential campaign with these two candidates alone that has cost well over $2 billion. Post-election America, it's important to remember that if this election is close, and all indications based on polls suggest that it will be very close, and that by midnight of November the 5th or the morning of November the 6th, the outcome may not be determined based on the closeness of the votes in particular states and the number of ballots that remain to be counted. If that's the case, you can expect to see a prolific amount of lawfare to contest the elections, to dispute certifications, which will take place by various canvassing boards at the local level and at the state level. And also you can expect, perhaps if the outcome is still indeterminate by early January, electoral challenges in the Congress, as was provided in 2020 in previous elections in which members of Congress have objected to the electors that have been put forward by the states to determine the election. So don't expect this necessarily to be over unless it's a landslide on November the 5th. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Stay tuned for a few more before the election. And remember, this is all about getting out the vote. Your vote matters. And so if you haven't voted, please do. It's important that you make your contribution to this democracy, and voting is the primary way by which you can do that. A little bit about myself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.